Good afternoon. This is Animal Uncontrol. Welcome to MuttHeads. Now, today's topic is the Yes Kill movement and its sister movement, the Yes Jail movement. Now, you're thinking, I've never heard of these, but the opposite is the No Kill movement. The No Kill movement says that no matter how many injuries a dog has inflicted upon people or other animals, that dog should be given an unlimited number of free passes. And that needs to stop. Fido needs a dirt nap. He needs the hot shot, not to be turned loose to attack more people. Let's take a look at a recent case. It involved a dog-related killing. I'm looking at dogsbite.org. Dogsbite.org is a fantastic page if you want to research, particularly dog-related fatalities. The host does an excellent job of documenting these. In a sense, it's a news aggregator site. In any case, this is a case of a super nutter that is now facing jail. Okay, manslaughter in the second degree related to a dog killing. Now, what do we have here? Well, June 2016, her pit bull Hurley bit a man's face who was visiting the home. This isn't written too well, but I don't think Colleen wrote this. It's probably a cut and paste. But his injuries required surgery. Now you think, why did Fido not get the hot shot then? Why not? Okay, I mean, it's bad enough that these things even exist, but why do we enable them to injure people over and over and over again? And I mean, by they, I mean the dogs and the owners. We need to put a stop to this. This is intolerable. Okay, so look at this again. Look at this rap sheet. Look at all this. Look at what this dog and this dog owner did. Okay, I'm going to copy this into a blank blog page. Okay, so this was offense. This was strike one. Now look at what else happened. 2017 or 2018, the dog knocked down a woman who was coming to the Morrow. Oh, actually, no, we have this one. November, the dog bit a man who was visiting. Again, attacked another guest in the home. Those injuries were disfiguring, and Morrow was issued a ticket for harboring a vicious dog. Well, I'm sure that taught her a lesson. Moving on, 2017 or 2018, a dog knocked down a woman who was coming to the Morrow home to report a water leak. So basically, the dog knocked somebody down and sat on them. November 2020, the dog bit several people. So this was basically an attack involving multiple victims. When a woman tried to help the victims, she was bitten on the thigh and breast. Another woman was bitten and her injuries required long-term hospitalization. When that woman's husband tried to help her, he was bitten several times in the stomach and thighs. Okay, in 2021, that man, and I'm assuming it's the husband, went back to the hospital for his dog bite injuries, but they became septic and he died. This is why even a small bite can be serious, because we're contemplating an animal that eats shit and licks its ass much of the day. Even a minor bite can lead to a very serious illness. Okay, so this is basically a death related to the dog bite. But in my proposed regime, you would not let all of this happen. Okay, all of this should not be allowed to happen. You can now, provided that the dog is allowed to be owned at all, and you could argue against that. But let's just assume that, okay, she owns this dog regardless of what BSL regime is in place. Is you need to stop it after this first attack. This is one strike too many. Okay, what should happen here is that you should give what am I doing here? Give Fido the hot shot. Jail the owner. Okay, now, what does that accomplish? Now, it doesn't undo this, but what it does do is it prevents all of this. Okay, if this had been done, this would not have happened. Okay, we could have, all these victims could have been spared. We would have been spared all this. And this is not a unusual or rare case. This kind of thing happens all the time. It happened in this case, this Kylene Waltman case. This was a woman who was attacked by 3 at-large dogs. I believe 2 of them were pit bulls. Okay, they tore off her arms. They eviscerated her. She was disemboweled and lost her colon, and they tore out her trachea. She has suffered numerous other injuries as well. But it turns out, ding, 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 that these dogs had a history also. Okay, rather than an isolated incident, dogs tied to Minor, the Minor is the name of the dog owner, had been involved in at least one other report to animal control. Why was this not stopped then? I mean, this is preventable. This woman could have been spared these injuries if they were proactive about going after dog owners. But, you know, our authorities are like determined to be passive aggressive about this. It's criminal. So let's take a look at a classic case, okay? When I first got into blogging, there was a dog bite related fatality actually near me. Hawthorne's only about a half-hour drive away. An elderly man gardening in his backyard was mauled to death by 2 at-large pit bulls. He didn't die right away. He was mauled on June the 10th and died from his injuries 5 days later. So the dogs tore off one of his arms, partially severed his other arm, and bit down on his head in a manner that left his brains hanging out. Okay, the dogs belong to Deanna Blitch and her son, William Braxton. Okay, Blitch and Braxton hid the bloody dogs from authorities, claiming they had shot them and dumped the bodies in a nearby lake. That did not happen. They were trying to protect the dog. But here's the thing was, this McSweeney incident, this was a dog's 3rd strike. Look at what they've done. And this is just what we know about. There may have been other attacks or bad behavior that were not reported anywhere. Okay, in January 2010, another man was bitten by the dogs. The man said he was caring for the property next door when the animals came to the fence and knocked him down and attacked him, biting him all over his body. Now that man is suing, the dog owners. Okay, so what was done here? Nothing. Nothing was done. The dogs went back to the owner, and now they're set up to fail again. Okay, this time the dogs attacked a visitor to the home. The owner was claiming that he was, trespassing, but yeah, I believe that because, obviously these people are so honest, right? And strike 3 was the dogs killed McSweeney. Why do we allow this stuff to go on and on and on? Dog owners need to be held accountable. They desperately need to own up to this. But nobody wants to do it. Okay, and what's even worse is that the owner, even after this, after all this, with this leading up to a death, the owner got the horrendously long duration of 90 days in jail. Okay, and to make it for even more shits and giggles, they got 45 weekends in jail. So it was weekends only, so they'd be home during the week and in jail on the weekends. And I'm sure that taught them a lesson. Let's take a look at another classic case, and this brings up Jennifer Romano. I've spoken of her before. If there were an Olympics of mutt nuttery, she would take the gold. She is an infamous turbo nutter. Okay, recently, I believe it was early this year or perhaps last year, she took a phony fake service pit bull to a restaurant where it attacked a kid. And that was not the first time for that dog either. But back in 2013, her dog Gus attacked Amber Rickles. Get a load of this. During a 20-minute attack, the dog bit Rickles on the right arm and then latched onto her left breast when she tried to put it in a kennel. With the pit bull, it's still attached to her left breast. Now, this is really giving some messed up visualization. Miss Rickles backed into a laundry room where the dog released his grip, enabling her to close the door, right? So she's backed into, a utility room. She shut the door. The door is between her and the dog. The pit bull then broke through the door and attacked her a third time, breaking her arm. Now, this is one game pit bull. 3 men pulled Gus off Rickles, okay? So, a judge ordered the dog destroyed, but the rescuer who brought the dog to Rickles Boarding and Training Center, Jennifer Romano, appealed the order. I don't know why we allow this. It's like we need to stop, giving standing to dogs in these cases. So Milan's, Cesar Milan's Dog Psychology Center. Now, if that's not a scam outfit, what is? Then agreed to take the pit bull and rehabilitate it. So thank dog for that. Now, this goes on. While he was in this Dog Psychology Center, the pit bull, Gus, attacked an Alaskan Malamute on the neck. Now, there was a video of this, and I've been trying to find it, and I can't find it, and I think it was unpublished. And that's an aspect of this that people need to be aware of, is that nutter activists attempt to essentially not necessarily rewrite history, but erase history. All these things, even if you look at this blog post that I wrote in 2015, many of these links are dead. They don't go anywhere. Okay, so it attacked, and this was a vicious attack. I mean, this was worse than that golden retriever video I posted a week or two ago. This was really vicious. This dog was really dangerous. Okay, so Bitney says, and this is a lawsuit, this person Bitney is suing them, knowing that the dog was still a danger to the public, the center released the dog on September 17, 2014. And I snark some more. It wasn't like, he attacked a person or anything. Derp. Okay, so now the dog is out after all this. Okay, the dog is now basically, out of jail. He's free. Okay, so Bitney says the dog attacked her at Vizola's home 6 days. Well, he went a whole 6 days without attacking anybody, after Milan's center released it. Her injuries allegedly included disfiguring open wounds, deep muscle and tendon lacerations, and open comminuted fractures to the radius of the ulna. There's all this, anyway, she has permanent loss of feeling and function in her left hand. So you got somebody else who's, permanently injured, thanks to a mutt and their enabling owners. Okay. And the interesting thing is, this was after all this, Jennifer Romano again sued to have him saved. After all this, I'm telling you, turbo nutter. Now, I believe that owners of dogs that maul and kill need to be prosecuted criminally. And people ask, how are you going to pay for it? How indeed? Or who is going to pay for it? You know who's going to pay for it? Dog owners. That's who's going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it with taxes, they're going to pay for it with fees, and they're going to pay for it with fines. Because their interest, this hobby of theirs, creates a great deal of social harm, okay? It inflicts injury upon others, and they need to pay for it. They need to pay for it individually and collectively. Think about it. This is animal uncontrol, and as always, people first.